Welcome to the Metaville. I'm Jeanne Curtin, an attorney and the Business Partnerships Director for Rocket Ship Consultants, and I'm excited to be your ambassador to the Metaverse today.
And I'm Tootle. I'm the Operations Director at Rocket Ship Consultants. Today, our special guest is Deborah Bryan, the Joy Broker Happiness Coach, and she's a multimedia artist with GypsyOwl Art. Deborah, welcome to the Metaville.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're thrilled you're with us. So let's start with a general question that we ask every guest. Tell us about what you do.
I'm a caregiver full-time, and I am a happiness coach at the Joy Broker, and I'm an artist.
So how specifically are you involved with the metaverse? Because the Metaville is all things metaverse, and we're kind of like an introductory ambassador to the people who aren't familiar with it, what the metaverse is. So tell us what your involvement is and what the metaverse means to you.
The way I'm involved is I am taking my art, which is abstract acrylic or photo art, digital art, and I'm using my art to create what's called an NFT, and those are a blockchain facsimile, I suppose you would say, of the art. And in that sense, once it's an NFT, it can be used in the metaverse in a wide variety of ways.
Now, Deborah, why are you an artist amongst the other roles that you are responsible for?
When I was very young, I had difficulty communicating. I was not comfortable in my environment, and I used art to try and understand myself, how to express myself. And it always came out abstract, but I really liked it. And I understood myself a lot longer before anyone else did. So I used art to cope in the environments I was in, and I used art to understand myself. And I've done that off and on. Sometimes I would stop and I would forget that was kind of my lifeline to me and to my health. That's why I'm an artist.
You know, I have heard that from other artists as well, that they use art in a similar fashion. What is your inspiration?
One of the first inspirations I had was Walt Disney. When I was very young, every Sunday night, Walt Disney would introduce his show. I don't remember the shows, but I remember I really wanted to hear him. He talked about his world, his virtual world that he dreamed of, and that he was making real in his shows or cartoons or movies. And he also had a vision of the artist. He spoke about allowing artists to come into his team and to just create. And I wanted to work for him when I was a little kid. And then later my inspiration was nature, because that was always my go-to. I didn't realize how I wasn't doing it intentionally, but I do now, because I realize whenever I'm in nature, I get that pause and that stillness, and I can regroup. And so I use nature to inspire my art, which is usually just with camera phone. And then I take that and I put it into GIMP, which is it's not Photoshop, but people will understand Photoshop. GIMP is what I've used since 2005 to create digital art. And then I enhance it. And when NFT came around, I had very little to do to prepare to create NFTs.
You know, I have to real quickly, what you said about nature is just so true. You know, just the walk, sometimes even if you're stuck inside, just looking out a window makes all the world of difference. It is that pause, and just, I think, lets people be grateful for, in a sometimes very stressful, very hectic world, be grateful and just stop for a minute. And that's so important for every one of us.
True. And balancing.
Let's take a quick commercial break. Okay. And when we come back, we want to hear more about what you're doing in the metaverse.
Okay.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Deborah Bryan. She is the joy broker, a happiness coach, a multimedia artist with GypsyOwl Art, and a full-time caregiver. So thank you again, Deborah, for being with us. And before I forget, I did want to tell everyone something you had shared with us, which is that for the duration of 2021, half of the NFT art proceeds from transactions on OpenSea will be donated to homeless support funding. And you can find additional details on this wonderful opportunity at GypsyOwlArt.com. So again, Deborah, thank you so much. And how has art become your vehicle for attaining and maintaining joy?
That I've been trying to figure out how to share that to make sense. I believe I touched on a little bit that I can use nature to create art. And I find that when I spend more time in nature, I'm more balanced, and I can tap into that inner joy regardless of what's going on around me. And I think that NFT has inspired me to spend more time in nature so I can create more art. So I think that's the balance is when I was not doing art because I was letting my life and the busyness of it get in the way of art. I became restless and I had a lot of health problems. And when I just allowed myself to create and then work intentionally spend time every day, sometimes several times a day, it helps. You see the dog. It helps being able to take her out to walk. She tells me when it's time to go outside.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm out there, I just think, look, I watch, I observe, and then I see something. My most recent piece is called Garbage Pail Fractal Art. I was actually staring at a garbage can because I was waiting for the dog and I was tired. And all of a sudden I started seeing things in that design. So I created art from it, which changed my whole mood. I wasn't tired anymore. Now I was excited. I was enthusiastic. I wanted to make more art.
You know, something that you said at the beginning to your answer was very interesting. And that was that you're thinking about this virtual world, and yet to be more active in the virtual world, it's urging you to go out and spend time in nature, the physical world, which you wouldn't necessarily think that would be the case.
Absolutely. I think that is a misconception. When I have friends who say, I'm not interested in NFT, I have to touch something. And I so understand that. I think that there's a misconception. Superworld is a good example. The show you had previously, I'll let people go back and listen to that. The way I see that is, if I know that there's going to be, say, an exhibit, and even if it's a virtual exhibit, it's going to feel real to me, I'm going to go. So I may go to the park on Saturday instead of staying home on the computer because I want to see and be involved. And it is community. It's community in where I'm from with the artists. And then it's community in the community. It's not just... NFT is not just a digital piece of art that's sitting on a blockchain. The blockchain representation of it gives it substance, I think, because I've done a lot of art and I don't know where it is, who owns it, if it's ever been resold. The cool thing about NFT is I know who owns it, and I know that when they resell it, I will get a royalty from that. And so as the value increases, then I'm going to have the money I need for the causes that I'm passionate about. So and not being able to help causes I'm passionate about has been annoying to me. I want to help and I can't. So I spend more time. And then today, as an NFT artist, I have the opportunity to contribute more substantially to the causes that I'm passionate about. And someone was asking me yesterday, what is NFT? And from her perspective of having no tech, I said this. I said, when you're sitting here in your kitchen and your dog walks into the room and lays down, And she says, yeah. Well, what if that happened and it wasn't really your dog, but you felt like it was your dog? It looked like it was your dog, but it was an NFT art piece. And I didn't even think about that before I told her. But while I was telling her and while I'm telling you, that's what it's like. That's what I feel that Superworld and NFT could be and probably is like for some places.
That's a really neat way to explain it. And I like how you touched on the fact that basically this gives you as an artist a way to get credit for the things that you've created, whereas before, like you said, you would kind of lose track. You wouldn't know who owned your art, where it's gone in the world. But this is a way to keep track and for you to get credit for your art, which opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for you. I saw on your website that you have an actual virtual gallery, and it's just really, can you talk more about how people can see your art?
That's another thing is oncyber.io has a app that's free that an artist who has minted their NFTs can go and create a virtual 3D gallery that is a visitor can walk around and look at the art. It's a little bit complicated to explain, but it's really easy to use and it's gorgeous when it's done. I spent so little time creating, and I think I have 3 galleries now. So each time I have a new collection, I put it in a new gallery. So that's oncyber.io, 3D gallery experiences. It's an amazing application. It's so easy to use, and they are really connected with the artist community.
Well, Deborah, how can our audience members connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with you? And there may be multiple ways.
There are, I think I spend most of my time on Twitter, and that's Twitter at GypsyOwl. I believe that I do that because that's where the NFT community appears to be to me. So a lot of artists that we're on the back channels a lot. So I do check my direct messages on Twitter quite often. So they can direct message me or go to the website. My email address is on my website, or go to the news page on my website and sign up for the newsletter. Which the first welcome will have step-by-step how to create an NFT.
Perfect.
Very good.
Sign right up.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Deborah. This has been very informative, and you've just been a wonderful guest. And thank you for sharing all that you have with us today. For viewers, remember our show discusses all topics related to the metaverse. If you'd like to suggest a guest or become a sponsor, please reach out to us. Our email addresses are at the bottom of the screen. And don't forget to like and subscribe to our show, and of course, share it on your social media channels. And of course, get in touch with Deborah and sign up for her newsletter. Signing off from the Metaville, I'm Jeanne Curtin.
And I'm Joy. Goodbye. Thanks, Deborah.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.